morning, Miss Archula. Today I'm going to be talking to you about human trafficking. Human trafficking is a major global issue. With an estimated 21 million people affected worldwide, it is illegal in almost every country for obvious reasons, but criminal organizations use cross-border trafficking as a way to do so. What that means is they will traffic people from border to border, country to country, without people knowing. Victims suffer physical and physiological trauma and are denied basic rights and are unable to escape their situation due to fear, lack of resources, or just being held in captivity. And to combat that, governments and international organizations have implemented measures such as cross-border security, like on the borders you have to go through checkings, you have to provide your passport and all this information just so you can get by, and they do searches on your vehicles and all stuff like that. But more stuff does need to be done to address the root, because human trafficking is a major global issue that is still going on today and is still continuing to grow to this day. It affects major cities around the world, and it affects millions in those cities. With that being said, victims are often forced to work in either terrible conditions, whether that be in factories or as sex slaves or as anything like that. And they are subject to work in terrible conditions, subjected to physical and sexual abuse, and stripped of their basic human rights, which no person should have to go through to be forced to do something that they don't want to do and that they don't need to be doing and they shouldn't be doing. It also fuels other forms of criminal activity, such as drug trafficking, human trafficking, sex trafficking, money laundering, and also terrorism. And one of the sources I looked at was talking about how in Portugal, legislative changes have made the legal framework on human trafficking more comprehensive, inclusive, and convergent with European directives, but it also affects and implements those changes on investigation and prosecution and how they're still overlooked, which basically means that even though our countries are working to fight this problem and do stuff to fix it, somehow it's still continuing to grow. Even though all these people are trying to come together and find solutions to make this problem stop, it continues to grow. So it clearly shows that we need to be working on more solutions to solve this problem. Another one of the sources that I had researched on my research essay showed that fieldwork in Albany showed that victims showed what they have to deal with and what they have to go through, as well as the process of the legal matters going into it, like what happens when they get out, what their stories, what it brings to light for the government, and what they can do to help them and reimburse them for their troubles and trauma. The Albanian government, along with other governments, have taken numerous steps to combat human trafficking in the country and prevent it from happening in the future, which, like I said, most governments are still doing that to this day, but it still continues to grow. Human trafficking is a topic that needs to be brought to light and brought to justice. So, with all that being said, human trafficking is it's a plague that is striking the world as a whole, and sadly there's no cure for it unless people continue to work on it. So people as in governments need to continue to work and try to come up with a solution to end human trafficking for once and for all. Thank you.